tell us about what's going to happen on November 3rd?
I don't think that any of these numbers, Willie, are determinative or predictable about what's going to happen in terms of the raw vote. But what they do show is the climate that we're operating in and the loss of confidence in the American people with regard to Donald Trump. And what was true about the election in 2016 was this: whomever the election was about was losing. And the election was about Donald Trump all the way through, and he was losing all the way through until the end. With the Comey letter, it became in those final days about Hillary Clinton. And then very narrowly, Donald Trump was elected to the presidency of the United States. It's incumbent upon Joe Biden to prosecute the case here. And the case is that in the second decade of the 21st century, the most powerful nation in the history of the world, its leading scientific, economic, and military power, elected a con man, a failed businessman, a reality TV show star who had branded himself as a business icon, to the presidency of the United States. He doesn't read. He can't consume information. He won't listen to anybody. And we as a country had a real lack of imagination for the capacity for there to be a great tragedy, and it has come. And he lacks every ability, every competency necessary to get us through this crisis. And that's what Joe Biden has to drive. He has to hammer it day in, day out. This is an incompetent, inept, lying, deceitful, no good president who has made the country the weakest it has ever been in the post-World War II era.
So, in the words of Harry Truman,
one way to put it,
as he was approached after getting off of a train by a detractor in the 1948 campaign, he turned to his advisors and said, "Boys, we'll put him down as undecided." So, Kurt Bardella, let's talk about something you know about, and that is, of course, government reform and oversight and investigations. You were there when the Republicans were doing it around the clock, and you know all the players there. They've been talking about making up this Obamagate story, and we heard that they were going to get Susan Rice's email released, and oh my God, it was going to be horrible. It got released, and Susan Rice said, "Go by the book, go by the book, go by the book." We just said, "Let's go by the book." We talked to go by the book. President Obama said, "Go by the book. Make sure you go by the book." Comey, are you going by the book? Yes, I'm going by the book. Everybody said that. So the Susan Rice email comes out, and it actually undercuts Obamagate, whatever that is. Then they go, "Yeah, but Biden asked for the unmasking of Flynn, the unmasking of Flynn." We heard about that. Oh, the buildup. Oh, my God, this is going to be the worst thing ever. The unmasking of Flynn. How could they do this? This is Russian hoax, blah, blah, blah. And then what do we find out? We find out that Flynn, his name, was never unmasked. So now they're going to make up something else. Like, this is like this, it's sad and pathetic. It's like this rolling conspiracy theory, one conspiracy theory after another, and they think Americans care about it. Ron Johnson thinks people in Wisconsin care about it. Look at the polls.
Does he really?
Americans care about testing. Americans care about keeping their children safe. Americans care about keeping their seniors safe. They're worried about their mothers, their fathers in nursing homes. They're worried about their grandparents. They're worried about the things that a civilized nation would be worried about during this time, that an educated nation would be worried about during this pandemic, the worst crisis since World War II. And on the Hill, Republicans are chasing conspiracy theories that all blow up in their faces, Kurt, that all blow up in their faces.
I mean, if there's any sure sign of just how desperate things are for the Republican Party right now, it's the fact that they're double dipping on this playbook that they used in 2016. Right now, more than 90,000 Americans are dead. Millions around the world are suffering from this pandemic. And instead of talking about ways to make us safe, instead of talking about ways to actually get the economy moving, reopening schools safely, listening to medical doctors and experts. Republicans are chasing conspiracy theories. And it speaks to something that you talk about a lot, which is this narrow, fixated focus that they have on this small group of people who will not determine this election in November. They are marginalizing themselves by chasing these Breitbart-esque conspiracy theories. And all the while, they're setting themselves up for failure. And Steve's right when he says that Joe Biden needs to prosecute Donald Trump every single day. When you have people like Clay Lacy Aviation getting $27 million in government funding, he's a max out donor to the RNC. When you got the data firm that's doing Trump re-election work getting $2.85 million of taxpayer funds, when you got the president's ambassador to Belgium, his family getting a $5.5 million loan, that tells you that there is a case to be prosecuted, that Donald Trump's drain the swamp rhetoric was just an aberration, that Joe Biden has so much ammunition to go after Donald Trump. If Republicans want to talk about oversight and investigations and hearings and witnesses, Donald Trump's given them the blueprint for where they need to start.
And Willie, wasn't it a couple of days ago, didn't we find out that the Senator Kelly Loeffler's husband, after news came out of possible insider trading to profit off of the coronavirus, that he made his largest contribution ever to Donald Trump's cause?
I don't want to say because I'm not for sure, but I know that Senator Loeffler had to hand over documents to the Justice Department and the SEC. So she is obviously being looked at by those organizations right now, along with Richard Burr.
I'm sorry, Steve Schmidt, can I ask you the same question? Maybe I read that story wrong. Do you have information?
He gave $1 million to the RNC. And when we look at the totality of all of these loans, right, the story's going to be the small business people across the country who couldn't access them. And then the abuse, including by the president's campaign manager, Brad Parscale, who somehow got himself a significant loan for one of his businesses. So the cronyism, the corruption in all of this is just mind-boggling. And just one thing, Joe, quickly about Obamagate, which, of course, there's no such thing. This was the cleanest administration in our lifetimes. There was no one indicted in the Obama administration for 8 years. Nobody, 0 people. So there's no such thing as Obamagate. It doesn't exist. It's a figment of the fever swamps of right-wing media. There's Obama's gate. I've seen a picture of it on the Internet, the gate in front of his house. That's Obama's gate. But there's no such thing as Obamagate as a scandal. Doesn't exist. And I don't think the American people are going to buy it from the most corrupt president running the most corrupt regime in American history.
Yeah, I mean, compare the number of people that got indicted in the Obama administration to in the Trump's administration. Holy cow. Hey, by the way, so Alex chased this down for us. Of course, they dumped their stocks in January. And on April 29th, her husband gave Politico reports Donald Trump's super PAC $1 million. Is that right, Alex? $1 million? $1 million to America First Action, a PAC supporting